Hello, my beautiful people. It's your girl, Tina Marie J. Welcome to my channel. If you're new to my channel, feel free to subscribe if you do like this video. Also, please make sure, especially if you're someone who watches my videos often, that you don't forget to press the thumbs up button, because if you thumbs up my videos, then it'll help so other people can see my videos and I can kind of just like master the first page when it comes to these type of this type of content. So I would really appreciate that a lot. Okay, so like getting straight into the video. So I have been having people lately coming into my DMs asking for advice, and one thing that I noticed a lot of people have thoughts about that they are not really sure exactly how to go about is having confidence after you leave religion, confidence after you leave a cult or any church, even a toxic group, I would say, because not every toxic group is a cult. So there are multiple ways of going about this, but I know that with my personal experience, for me, I didn't have the kind of confidence I have now when I first left the ICOC, which, if you don't know and you're new to this channel, I used to be a part of a cult for 7 years. It was called the International Churches of Christ, aka ICOC. So if you hear me mentioning ICOC, I'm speaking about the church I used to be in, which is how this channel came about. So I was a part of that church for 7 years. I grew up in Christianity. Confidence wasn't something I always had, though I've always kind of been a bit of a bold person when it comes to right and wrong. I just always felt like it's not hard to really be able to tell whether something is right or wrong. I didn't attribute it to the fact that I was a Christian. I just thought, well, I'm a human being and I should kind of just know the difference between what's right and wrong. So that was something I never really had an issue with, but that's just my personal personality. When it comes to having actual true confidence, I didn't gain that until way after I left the cult. And then I left religion, I would say probably like about a year after I walked out of, well, I should say a year and a half after I walked out of the cult, about a year and a half to almost like 2 years. That's when I had left Christianity. So for me, my confidence really didn't begin until then. Now, before I really share with you guys exactly how it went for me, first I want to just get into what three key component factors that I feel that you need in order to gain confidence. All right. So first of all, being in a religion, uh, your conditions honestly to follow. I mean, aren't you? You're told you need to follow. You need to pick up your cross and follow. You have to follow the leader. You have to follow the one, the Savior, Jesus Christ. If you were in Christianity, any other religion, you have someone that you are taught to follow. So when you're a part of religion, and this is not a jab at religions at all, I just don't want anyone who's new to this channel to think that I bash religions. I don't. I love everybody. All right. But this is really honesty. You are taught to follow. You're taught to follow and you're conditioned to follow. And if you're like me and you grew up in religion, then you were most likely conditioned to follow whatever religion, whatever faith you were a part of. All right. You're taught to follow, let's say, when it comes to Christianity, I was taught to follow the Bible. I was taught to follow scriptures. I was taught to follow and be like Jesus. So if I'm gonna follow a leader like Jesus Christ and I have to be like Jesus, that means I have a certain criteria that I have to stick to. I have a certain criteria that I have to follow. And this is where it gets really touchy. A lot of people who are still a part of religion may take offensively is the whole quote unquote rules, following rules. So, I mean, when you are a part of religion, you do have a list of things that you're expected to uphold. As a Christian, you can't be a Christian and go out there and drink and party and be in the strip club and say, no, but I am a Christian, because that just doesn't work. That's just not how it works. So there are a list of things that you have to hold up. You're representing Jesus Christ. You're representing this person, this spirit that you're following, whoever it may be, what God may be to you. All right. So you're conditioned to follow. Next, you may have had thoughts, ideas, feelings, desires that you've been suppressing while you were a part of religion. You may have certain thoughts about what your opinion may be. Like for me, for instance, even though I grew up in Christianity and for a certain period of time I did take my faith serious as a young adult, I did have certain thoughts that I knew I couldn't share within my Christian community because it was something that was not, it wasn't okay. It was not an okay thing. Okay, so an example of one of those thoughts that I had that I knew wasn't gonna work being a Christian was, I support the LGBTQ community. I've always supported them. And I never really could grasp the idea that they would go to some place like hell for being gay, because I had too many questions surrounding, well, if they're not supposed to be gay, why would God allow them to be gay? And why are people believe that they're born gay? Why do people, they're 4 years old walking around in their mom's dresses and shoes and they feel they should have been a girl instead of a guy? Like, why does this happen if it's not supposed to happen, if it's not supposed to be okay? So I had too many questions around it. So it wasn't easy for me to just drop the support that I had for the community and say, you know what, I'm sorry, I don't support this. I don't support gay marriage. I don't support uh, gays going and adopting. I don't support this community. I couldn't do that. I just couldn't. But that was something I suppressed. That was something I kept to myself. That was something that I didn't share because of the fact that I knew that it wasn't going to be okay within my Christian community. All right. So that's just an example. That's just one example of some thoughts. Desires, you're suppressing your desires. Of course, you're suppressing your desires, sexual desires. We all know in religion that it's not okay to go with your desires. It's not okay to lead into that, which, that's something that you could really go into. Maybe I can make a video where we can talk a little bit about that. But that I can kind of understand at the same time, because I do think some desires should be suppressed because it may not be healthy to act out on. But there are many other desires as well, like a desire to be a musician, but you're told that you can't be a musician unless it's a musician for God, which that was something I heard a lot growing up. That's something that you are suppressing. So you're following a leader, you're following the Bible, you're following a faith, you're following a criteria, and then you're suppressing what you truly feel, what you truly believe, what your opinions are. You're putting it to the side. You're putting to the side your own morals of what you think. I mean, there are people who leave religion and then they read the Bible, especially the Old Testament, and they're like, "What the hell? This isn't okay. How the hell is this okay?" So as a person who is a part of a religious group, you tend to make excuses. I mean, let's be honest. I made a lot of excuses for the horrible stuff that people read in the Bible because, non-Christians, the first thing they do is go to the Old Testament and flip out the worst scriptures they could find and then say, okay, well, explain that. How are you going to follow a God who approves this? So I used to get stuck because in my mind I was like, damn, you know what? I mean, I low key agree with you, but I can't say that because I'm supposed to be a Christian. I'm supposed to be following. Now, the thing with these feelings, these thoughts, these ideas, these desires that you're suppressing is that it ends up resurfacing as you leave the faith. So as you leave the faith, it starts to resurface. It never really goes away. So, okay, let's say, for instance, you were brought up in Christianity, and in your household, being gay was not okay. Maybe your family didn't necessarily hate gays, but they just didn't support it. But you always knew deep down inside that you are a lesbian. So when you walk out of Christianity, when you walk out of whatever religion that you're in, all of these suppressed emotions, thoughts, feelings, desires that you've had for such a long time, it starts to resurface, which means that it never really went away. Because something that's gone away can't resurface. It can only grow. You could grow these feelings, but these are feelings that have never gone away. So these are feelings that just come back up. And when these feelings, when these emotions, when these thoughts, when it comes back, now you have to learn how to deal with it. Now you have to decide, are you going to go with your old religious mindset and suppress these feelings once again and pretend they don't exist? Or are you going to go with your new mindset, this newfound faith within yourself rather than within a religious I'm trying to be so careful with my words. With rather than the faith that you would have within a God, I'll say. Okay, because I try to be very careful because some people who are subscribed to my channel are atheists as well. Or maybe you just have faith in yourself and you don't believe in any God at all. So what do you do with these feelings that's resurfaced? So now you have to kind of decide like how you're going to go about things. And after you leave religion, going about life feels very different. It's very liberating. It feels very free because now you don't have a book that you're following. Now you're literally following yourself. And it's something that in religion you're always taught not to do. So building confidence is something that's important because if not, you will drive yourself crazy going back and forth thinking, am I doing something wrong? Should I not be doing this? Oh my God, I'm being selfish. I shouldn't have took that class. I should have maybe went to church instead. I'm being selfish. I shouldn't have done this. You go through that. I definitely did. But really, building confidence, it just all comes down to three basic multiple factors. Okay. So I call these the three selves, and I do speak more in depth about these in my Dope Soul course, which, if you are interested in knowing more updates on my new course that I am launching for the new 2021 year, which I am hoping is going to be so much better than 2020, but I have hope and faith, then do make sure that you either DM me at Tina Marie _J on Instagram and follow me on Instagram as well, or just leave it down, drop your email down in the comments below, and I'll add you to my mailing list and I'll send you some updates. But I am going to go into depth in my course, my master course, with these three selves. So right now we're just going to go over the basics. So there is number one, self-love. Number two, self-worth. And number three, self-validation. Okay. So first I'm going to speak a little bit on self-love. So when you leave religion, now this isn't going to apply to everyone. This entire video might not even apply to everyone. But if this applies to you, then let it be heard. When you leave religion, you have got to really learn how to love yourself. You must. It's an absolute must. And the reason why I say that with such urgency is because of the fact that I know how difficult it is to adjust and get through life after leaving religion. It is difficult to adjust because it's not the same. It's totally different. You're not waking up on Sunday morning to go to church. You're not reading your Bible. You're probably not praying. You're not having all these groups, especially if you were heavy in the church or if you were in the ICOC or any cult like the ICOC. It's very different. Life is very different. So you are going to run into certain dilemmas that you're going to have to solve on your own. You're going to go through certain confusions. You're going to have some moments. You're going to feel, at times, it may be hard. You may cry. You may feel emotional. Confusion is a huge one. That is a huge one. A lot of people leave religion or a cult and they feel very confused. They don't know, well, do I still believe? Do I not believe? How can I believe and not go to church? I believe, but I don't believe in religion. What is that? What's that about? Trust me, I know, because guess what? It happened to me. All right. And the thing that really helped me was learning to love myself. So especially if you were a part of a very toxic group, or if you dealt with a lot of, I hate this term, but a lot of people usually use this term, church hurt, I'll say. Church hurt, spiritual abuse, spiritual trauma, anything like that. Self-love is going to be very important, okay? So self-love, there's a lot that goes into loving yourself. There's spending quality time with yourself. There's getting to know yourself. There is self-care. That is a part of self-love. And these are the things that I do go into in my new course again. Okay. Now, the second key factor that you will need is self-worth. You have to know your own worth, know your own value. Once you know your worth and you know your value, it's going to be really hard for anyone to really be able to shift that for you and to get into your head. So when you were in a cult, for instance, or when you were in your toxic group, people were able to get into your head. People were able to manipulate you. But when you have worth and value and you see it for yourself within yourself, it's not going to be so easy, because someone will say something and you'll say, I don't know about that. I'm kind of feeling myself. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm not worrying about that. So it's so much easier for you to even have conversations with other people who are still following religion, or who are still in the faith, people who are more critical, because not let's be honest, not every Christian, not every Catholic, not every Muslim, not all of them are high and mighty self-righteous beings. Okay, I always say this, there are beautiful Christians out there. A lot of them actually follow my channel, which I love you guys so much. There are beautiful Christians out there who will not judge. And so those people we're not speaking about, but we are speaking about those who are judgmental, those who will bash you, those who will hate you and claim that they love God. They are out there. We've seen them, we've heard them. Trust me, I know. I've gotten plenty of them. Okay, so once you're able to see yourself for your own true worth, these people can say what they want to say, and it's literally going to go through one ear and come out the other. You're not going to care. And then the third one is self-validation. Self-validation is extremely critically important. Self-validation is actually something I have grown to become stronger in within this year. So self-validation, when you validate your own self, you don't look to be validated by anyone else. You don't look for anyone else's approval. You don't look for anyone else to give you a pat on the back, because you can do it for yourself. That's what self-validation is all about. All right. So if you are able to validate yourself, if you're able to love yourself, if you're able to see your own worth, you are not going to go out there looking for it from anyone else, which means that when they try to come to you with any kind of bull crap, they tell you you're going to go to hell, or how could you be gay? That's a sin. That's not how it's supposed to be. You're definitely going to hell. You should believe in God. How could you not believe in God? How could you be an atheist? When they come to you with this crap, and you have these three selves, trust me, I promise you, it's not going to phase you, not one bit. And the reason why I say this is because these are three things that I've learned for myself, which has helped me. This has helped me. And it used to be difficult for me to see those kind of comments, even if I didn't really react to it. It used to bother me, because I still was in a very fuzzy, unknown state after I left the church and I started to feel myself leaving religion. I was still in that really fuzzy state where I was just like, I don't really know what I believe. But I was able to grow my confidence when I got these three selves: self love, self worth, self validation. And when you grow your confidence, you're going to see the difference when you're interacting with people who may try to come at you, who are going to try to come for you, who are going to try to bash you, going to try to bring you down, people who may try to manipulate you so they could pull you into their cult. You're going to have these people. I've had other cults try to invite me into their cult, and I knew the signs right away. So I knew to walk away and to say no. You're going to see how your interaction with these people is going to be so easy and quick, and your confidence of being able to stand in your own truth and say, no, thank you, I'm not interested, or I respect that that's how you feel, and I respect that that's what you believe in. However, I don't agree with that. That's not how I feel. That's not what I believe in. I don't share your beliefs. That's going to be so easy for you to say without feeling the guilt. So I'll admit, at first for me, it took a while for me to be able to be honest like that without feeling so guilty, just because that was just not something I was used to doing. That wasn't something that I I always, especially being in the ICOC, I I almost kind of became so quiet, and I'm not even a quiet person. I'm not a person who just shakes my head and says yes to everything or accepts everything that people say. I'm total opposite. So when I was in that cult and they conditioned my mind to think the way they wanted me to think, because that's what cults do, I just kind of accepted everything. And all these things, I didn't have any of these things. I had no self-love, I had no self-worth, I had absolutely no self-validation, which is why you have discipling partners, because they're conditioning you to need validation. They're conditioning you to need permission, to need someone to tell you what to think or what to do, what to wear, where to go, who to love, who to date, who to marry. That's what cults do. All right. Now, if you weren't in a cult and you were just a part of religion, religions could do the same thing, especially you go to church on a Sunday, you're taught that you have to follow. You're taught that, listen to the words that they make you repeat over and over. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy, dear Lord. I hate that one so much. That one bothers me so bad. I can't take that one. I'm sorry if I sound nasally. My nose is all stuffy and I have allergies. But when you go to church, this is what you repeat. Okay, so that's not very loving. That doesn't really reflect a lot of self-love. So you need to really think, not need to, I'm sorry, I suggest that you really think about what you're repeating if you do still go to church. Be careful of the words that you speak to yourself, but that's all for another video. But this is going to help you get that confidence. This is going to help you get that confidence. And I do have a lot of people that ask me, like, how do I have confidence to to stand in my truth and to say, hey, I don't believe in that anymore? Because you may have you may have family that are still followers. You grew up in it, so your family may still be followers. Meanwhile, you're out of it, you're not, and you're just like, oh, this feels super awkward, because everybody's trying to pray and they ask me to pray and I'm like, that was the worst thing for me. First of all, no one should ever force you to pray, ever. No one should ever force you to pray. So my mom is still a Christian. I don't speak to her about my religious views and all of that. We haven't gotten to that place. I think she has a sense of something, but I don't think she realizes, like, how far away from religion I am. But for you to have the confidence to even open up to your family, that's something I could save for another video. This is like an overall review, because when it comes to your family, that goes a little bit different, because that's something that's a little bit more sensitive. That's a little more just too close to home, or is home, so you go about it in a different way. But at the end of the day, you still, as a human being, have a right, whether it's family, strangers, friends, a spouse, it doesn't matter, your partner, whoever, you have a right to stand in your truth and to say, I don't believe. Just like they have a right to say, well, I do believe and I do pray and I do follow the Bible. You have a right to say, okay, I respect that and I don't believe and I don't pray the way that you pray, or I don't follow the Bible. You have a right. We all have right. That's, at the end of the day, that's really what it's all about. So if you do want to learn more about my Dope Soul Master Coaching course, brief overview real quick. So basically, it's not just a typical course where I make it and then you guys just do it at home by yourself. No, I'm actually going to be working with you. Okay, so I have a group of people excuse me. I have a group of people that I am going to be working with to enroll in this course. And I'm going to be working with you guys, where we are going to, as a group, learn how to get there, how to get that confidence that you need, how to find peace, how to discover your beautiful soul, your beautiful self, how to get to a place of peace and happiness so you can enjoy your life and not live in the past of whatever you went through. And I don't mean learning to get over it, but I mean overcoming it and using the pain that being a part of religion or being a part of a cult has brought you, using that pain to help you grow as you're healing. Because when you grow, you see new things. You start to see things very differently. And I really feel that we all we all should get there. We all have a lot of growing to do in different areas of our life. But in this area, I'm super excited for this because I get to work with you guys personally as well as in groups. And it comes with a workbook, and this is just the start of something new for us. Okay, so you guys are definitely gonna love my course. I can guarantee that. So if you are interested in knowing more about my course that I am going to be pre-launching very soon, then leave your email address down below in the comments, or you can send me a DM, because some people, want to be very discreet when it comes to their emails after coming out of occult and religion trust issues. So I get it. So that's that. Okay, and if you did like this video, make sure you do give me a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe for more on this type of topic. And I love you guys all so much. Stay safe and stay sanitized. I'll see you guys soon.